All right, let's move to Pittsburgh. I have so many issues with the design of that offense too. I might get into that, but I'll let you start again. We've got Kenny Pickett. We've got Mitchell Trubisky. I saw a lot of online commentary about how good Pickett was. I didn't watch the game live. I went back and watched it afterwards. We can get into it. Where are you at, Pickett versus Trubisky?
Well, it sounds like they're promoting Pickett based on recent reports. He's suddenly getting reps with the ones. I watched a bit of Kenny Pickett this morning. He's okay. He is what he was at Pitt. He can be accurate. He's certainly not Joe Burrow, as people have compared him to. He can make some plays on the move. When it looks good, it looks good. He's not underwhelming. I don't know if somebody can be whelmed, but that's what Kenny Pickett leaves me with. He leaves me fairly whelmed.
That is the perfect thing. It's like everything is okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, okay. But there's just not that oomph.
No. Yeah, you've always left wanting more, and it's not there. But I have less issues with Pickett than I do with whatever the hell Matt Canada's doing with that offense, particularly when Trubisky was on the field. This is a guy who's supposed to be motion-heavy offense, but it just seems like it's a lot of motion for the sake of it. It doesn't achieve anything. There's a lot of, we'll move this tight end over here, or move this receiver here, and Seattle, whatever day it was, just shrugged and said, okay. That didn't really affect the defense in any way, shape, or form. And it was just, whenever Trubisky was on the field, there was nothing like, we know what Trubisky is. He has a lot of faults, but when you give him a defined read, you can hear it. Like they had one play, it was play action over out Gunnar Oshevsky, I think that's how you pronounce his name, former Patriot. He made a really nice anticipatory throw. Perfect. There was none of that the rest of the way. It was just a mess. There was nothing there. There was no coordination. It's similar to the Panthers. Nothing seemed to complement each other. There was one example. I think it was a 3rd and 4, his second series. I think it's his final play of the game. So you want something quick, keep the chains moving. It was 3 go routes and a stop out underneath. None of them were open. The pressure came really quickly because Pittsburgh's offensive line is terrible. He had to bail from the pocket and made an incomplete throw on the move. And it's just, it's not playing to his strengths. And then you had Mason Rudolph come in and comedy and shoot. It seemed to me because when Pickett came in, they got him on the move. They cut the field in half. They gave him a few reads where they can make easy throws on the run. They start using motion more effectively. They had a massive gain on the motion. Guy came across the formation, carried the ball, got it from Pickett, and took it 40 yards. Yeah. It seemed to me
they then tried to repeat the very next drive and got smoked because Matt Canada has no sense of saying, okay, the end crashed. He surfed it, right? He came crashing and the guy went flying behind him. Okay, so the next time he's going to sit down. They actually scraped the exchange. I know I'm getting too nerdy for some people here. They scraped the exchange with the linebacker behind. They both tried to leap into the same gap, essentially, the off-ball backer to that side and the end. Yeah. They were playing the fly because they just got toasted by the fly and got bollocked on the sideline, basically, for playing the fly. So what do? You run the fly and you zone it back the other way, right? And there's just a chasm of a hole. Not Matt Canada, man. Matt Canada's like, I'm running the fly again. That one hit.
It just seemed to me like, if you indulge a conspiracy theory, they were setting one QB up to look really good, Pickett, and the other 2 up to look pretty poor, which Mason Rudolph does excellently because the first play he came on, he didn't sense any. There was backside pressure. He didn't sense it in any way, shape, or form, and nearly lost the ball. But it seems like they sit there. We're going to play Pickett the hell of it, and we're going to make him look good. We're going to make Mitch Trubisky look terrible by giving him nothing.
I just don't know. I keep saying, I don't think... I mean, look, people know that I was not in on Kenny Pickett at all, and I will say I thought he looked comfortable. He operated the system well. I mean, it was all throws to the flat. Like you said, it was all movement stuff. It was guff, basically. You cannot run that stuff regularly in the NFL. It's just not going to happen. What is so baffling to me is the spacing of their offense is just non-existent. Now, I know they want to be condensed. Everyone wants to be condensed, but it's how they distribute the routes. Now, we're moving to the 2 deep world. Everyone knows about, right? It's either 2 and spin or 2 and it's a 2 deep shell, usually some kind of cover 4 quarters match, something like that. Mm-hmm. The way you have to puncture that moving forward is either you got to push someone back and drop someone underneath, drag someone out, throw him behind, or you have to make it very difficult to read in the fly, so you're getting a switch release at the line of scrimmage, which is the most common thing, right? Okay, the back guy switches with the guys at the top of the route, and then you would re-switch in the route, right? Because they've got so much time and space to see because there's 2 of them, and then they have to exchange and figure out, okay, who's picking up who. They do none of this stuff. No. None of this stuff. They make life so easy for the defense. Now, they move a lot, obviously, and everyone loves motion, but there is a logical extreme of motion, which Matt Canada has been searching for his entire career. Like you said, it's just motion for motion's sake without necessarily there being a point to it. And that what they ran was not professional offense, and it's no slight on Kenny Pickett, who, like I said, I know people think I don't like Kenny Pickett. I just don't rate him as a long-term starter in the NFL. Everything is so isolated from one another, which makes no sense when the core function of their offense, like you said, their identity, quote unquote, is supposed to be movement and confusion and motion and shifting. Well, then why do the routes not interplay with one another once you actually get into the play? And everything with him just feels, we'll come on to Desmond Ridder in a second. I was so impressed by Ridder in terms of everything was so fast. He was anticipating a ton. The ball was out. Now, he made some awful plays. He had the lowest lows and the highest highs, I thought, of the rookie guys. But you could sense the click of him knowing the speed of the game. With Kenny Pickett, now, he would regularly complete throws along the sidelines. They gave him a lot of low percentage throws to the sideline, right? A lot of individual comebacks, curls, that kind of thing. There's like a weird hitch in his step, but it's not even in the feet. He will load the gun and then he just waits a beat and then lets it go. Now, I think you can speed that up, but he's just very mechanical and robotic in everything he does. Whereas you watch Malik Willis and it's so slingshotty and everything just feels so much more natural for him to throw the ball.
Yeah, this is what it was like at the Pitt. It was effective in college and they won all the games, but it looked like it was hard work, which is always just not what you want ever. So.
I do like they ran Bill Brim. It's one of my favorite RPO concepts. It's the inside zone with the quick out. I think they ran that 25 times. And I'll give Kenny Pickett his due because the one thing that was said about him coming into the league was that he can at least run the offense, right? And they were taking landmark throws that a lot of coaching staffs call them. Some call them access throws, which is you basically fail on the run action of the RPO. You kind of don't read and weight it, which is how those plays are designed, right? Stick the ball in the belly of the back, read someone, either you hand it off or you throw it. The access landmark throws is, there's a ton of green grass where the route's going. I'm just going to rip it before I even do what would essentially be a ball fake. So that's pretty high level stuff. That's like the stuff that you want. That's something that you would have to probably tell Malik Willis, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, these guys who've come in the last few years. You probably have to tell them for 8 weeks, you can just grip it and rip it. You don't have to carry out the run function of the RPO. So that stuff was pretty impressive. It just, something about him seems uncomfortable, and throwing from the gun, quick game from the gun, 3-step game from the gun is supposed to be his comfort zone. Yeah. And everything just felt a little bit like he didn't feel comfortable. Now, I do not blame him because his offensive coordinator seems to be out in the sky. I don't know what is going on with him. So I think they quite clearly, like you said at the top, they want Pickett to get this job, it seems like to me. Understandable. And I think he's pretty ready based on that to function an NFL offense from week one. It's just unfortunate for him that the thing he's been put into is a bit of a mess.